Have you ever woken up in the middle of the night, not from a noise, but from a feeling? A feeling that something is just off. For me, that night started like any other. I went to bed around 11, scrolled through my phone for a bit, and drifted off. But then, at exactly 2:13 in the morning, I was jolted awake. It wasn't a dream. My entire bed was shaking. Not a gentle tremor like an earthquake, but a violent rhythmic shaking, as if someone was grabbing the foot of my bed and rattling it with all their might. My heart pounded in my chest. My eyes shot open, trying to pierce the darkness. I couldn't see a thing. The shaking continued for what felt like an eternity, maybe 10 seconds, and then it just stopped. Silence. The kind of silence that's so deep it rings in your ears. I lay there, frozen, straining to hear anything. A creak in the floorboards, a breath, anything to explain what had just happened. But there was nothing. Just the frantic beat of my own heart. Slowly, I reached for my phone on the nightstand. The screen lit up my room, confirming the time, 2:14 a.m. I quickly turned on my bedside lamp, flooding the room with light. I was completely alone. The windows were closed and locked. The door was shut. There was no one there. I checked the earthquake app on my phone. Nothing. No seismic activity reported anywhere near me. I even checked my local community group online to see if anyone else had felt anything. Again, nothing. It was just me. I spent the rest of the night with the lights on, huddled under my covers, replaying the event over and over in my mind. What could have caused it? My apartment is on the third floor of a relatively new building. Could it be the plumbing? A passing truck? But the shaking was so localized, so specific to my bed. It didn't feel like an external vibration. It felt personal. The logical part of my brain was scrambling for an explanation, but the part of me that was still terrified couldn't shake the feeling that something or someone had been in my room. I barely slept, jumping at every tiny sound the building made as it settled. The next day, I was exhausted. I tried to explain what happened to a friend over coffee, but I could see the skepticism in their eyes. They suggested it was probably a hypnagogic jerk, those muscle spasms you get as you're falling asleep. But I was already asleep, and this wasn't a twitch. This was my entire queen-size bed, a heavy, solid piece of furniture being violently shaken. They also suggested sleep paralysis, but I could move. I was awake. I chose to turn on the light. It just didn't fit. The more I tried to rationalize it, the more unsettling it became. The lack of a logical explanation was more terrifying than the event itself. I felt like I was losing my mind. That night, I was genuinely scared to go to sleep. I set up my phone to record the room, positioning it on my dresser so it had a clear view of my bed. I thought, if this happens again, I'm going to get proof. I checked the time when I finally climbed into bed, 1:30 a.m. I was so on edge, listening to every creak and groan of the apartment. Sleep felt miles away. My eyes were heavy, but my mind was racing. I must have drifted off eventually, because the next thing I knew, my alarm was going off. I had slept through the night. A wave of relief washed over me. Maybe it was just a one-time thing. A weird, unexplainable fluke. I grabbed my phone to stop the alarm and decided to check the recording, just in case. I fast-forwarded through hours of footage of me just sleeping. It was boring. Nothing happened. I was about to delete the file, feeling a little silly for being so paranoid, but then I decided to check the timestamp. I scrubbed the video timeline to exactly 2:13 a.m., and my blood ran cold. The video was clear. I was sound asleep. The room was still. But then, right at 2:13, you can see it. The corner of my duvet, the one hanging off the foot of the bed, slowly lifts up, as if a hand is grabbing it from underneath. It lifts, holds for a second, and then drops. And then, at the exact same moment, the bed begins to shake, just as violently as the night before. I was completely still in the bed, but the frame itself was rattling back and forth. Watching it on video was 100 times more terrifying than experiencing it. I could see it happening from an outside perspective. There was nothing in the room. No person, no animal. The window was closed, the door was shut. The duvet corner lifted on its own, and then the bed shook on its own. It lasted for about 10 seconds, just like I remembered, and then stopped. A few seconds later, on the video, you can see me jolt awake, my head snapping up, and then reaching for my phone. The recording proved I wasn't dreaming. I wasn't imagining it. It was real. I've watched that video at least 50 times, and I still can't explain it. I showed it to my friend, and their skepticism vanished, replaced by wide-eyed disbelief. We have no idea what it is. Is it a ghost? Some kind of weird energy? A prank from another dimension? I don't know. I've since moved my bed to the other side of the room, and thankfully, it hasn't happened again. But I still feel a chill every time I look at that corner of the room. I still have the video saved on my phone, a piece of concrete evidence of something completely unexplainable. Every now and then, I'll pull it up and watch it, just to remind myself that it really happened. I'm not crazy. What do you all think? Has anyone ever experienced anything like this before? A physical event with absolutely no logical explanation? I've gone from a total skeptic to someone who is, well, let's just say a lot more open-minded. I'm sharing this story because I need to know if I'm alone in this. Let me know in the comments what you think could have caused it. Seriously, I'm open to any and all theories at this point, because living with an unsolvable mystery that happened in your own bedroom is something I wouldn't wish on anyone. Thanks for listening to my story. It feels good to finally get it all out there. If you have your own unexplainable stories, I'd love to hear them. Make sure to subscribe for more content, and maybe, just maybe, we can figure some of this stuff out together. Stay safe and sleep well.